Hey, what's up everyone? This is Nick at BarBend.com, and today I'm going to be comparing two of the most popular meal replacement powders on the market, Soylent and Ample. Now there are a ton of differences between these two products. Soylent has some adherents that claim they can survive on Soylent alone for days and days and days and days at a time, although Soylent doesn't actually recommend that you do that. Whereas Ample is less intended to replace all your vitamins and minerals than it is to satiate hunger and potentially improve gut health. Those are just a couple of the differences, but one of the biggest differences is definitely the taste. Okay, so let's start with Soylent. So the funny thing about Soylent is that unlike Ample, it contains artificial sweeteners. This has sucralose, which is also called Splenda. So you would expect it to be more delicious, more sweet, but actually it's a very, very bland flavor. There aren't many flavors in this. The first ingredient is soy protein isolate, and because of that, in my opinion, it tastes a lot like unflavored tofu. Now, one of the pros of that is that it can more easily be used as a base for like smoothies and shakes if you want to make your own concoction. On its own, it's not super fun to drink. Like, it's fine, it's passable, but it's not very exciting. It's a bland flavor, and that's kind of the point, to be fair. Ample, on the other hand, it has a lot more fat and a lot of the flavorings as well. This has honey, and it's got some lemon juice, it's got some cocoa, it's got some cinnamon, and as a result of all of that, it tastes a lot more like liquid shortbread. It's like a really nice, fatty, almost buttery sort of flavor, and even though it doesn't have any artificial ingredients or flavors or sweeteners at all, it's a lot more cookie-like. So it kind of depends on what you're after. If you want something to be a base for shakes, Soylent is going to do that more easily. If you want something that's more delicious on its own, Ample it's a pretty good choice. Now, when you're comparing the nutrition, one meal of Soylent is meant to be 2 scoops, which is 400 calories. This here is a 600 calorie bottle of Ample, but I'm just going to compare the nutrition of the Soylent with the nutrition of a 400 calorie bottle of Ample, just to make it a little bit simpler. So when you're looking at 400 calories of each, the Ample has 7 grams more protein, 1 gram more fat, 14 grams fewer carbs, and 5 more grams of fiber. So more protein, more fat, more fiber. If hearing that makes you think that it must be more satiating, like it's better at curbing your appetite, I would agree. I've had both, and I think the Ample is a little bit better at taking the edge off your hunger. When you're looking at the micronutrients, it's a pretty different story. Now, Soylent, in 400 calories, you're going to get 20% of the recommended daily intake of 25 vitamins and minerals. There's a really wide variety of them as well, including a lot that you often don't see on meal replacements, things like choline and chromium, vitamin K. I mean, those aren't uncommon in meal replacements, but a lot of the time they are left off, particularly in lower quality ones. So the nutrition really is very impressive in the Soylent as far as the vitamins and minerals go. Ample, not so much. Now, the macros I like. The micros, there's very little to speak of. You do get 10% of the recommended daily intake of iron in 400 calories of Ample, which is something, but there's less than 5% of your vitamin A and vitamin C and calcium, and there's no other vitamins and minerals mentioned at all, except for sodium, which is like about a quarter of the recommended daily intake, a little bit less. So it's not an amazing source of vitamins and minerals, but Ample is a little bit more satiating. So again, it kind of depends on what you're after. Now, as far as the ingredients go, let's start with Soylent. Now, most of the ingredients here are the vitamins and minerals themselves that have been added. Besides that, there's not a ton to talk about. The first ingredient is soy protein isolate. There's also some high oleic canola oil for the fat. There's also a few ingredients that come from corn here. There's soluble corn fiber. There's also maltodextrin. There's also soy lecithin to help with mixability. And there's also the artificial sweetener sucralose. Everything else is really mostly just the vitamins and minerals themselves. Ample, on the other hand, has a very different brand. So Ample sort of tries to convey an image of being very natural as far as a meal replacement goes. It doesn't have added vitamins and minerals. Instead, the ingredients are very nice natural sounding ingredients like grass-fed whey protein concentrate. The fat comes mostly from coconut oil and macadamia nut oil. There's also some pea protein in here. There's organic sweet potato powder. There's also some greens here, which is a pretty important part of marketing. So this contains like organic wheatgrass, organic barley grass. It's got some chlorella in there, which is a nutritious type of algae. That's meant to deliver a lot of the antioxidants, which is something that Soylent doesn't particularly focus on. And it's also got probiotic bacteria. So there's a 40 billion probiotic bacteria in this. And there's some inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber, and it has more fiber. So again, this has more of an emphasis on digestive health, all natural ingredients, and it could potentially be argued that it is more paleo if you're okay with whey concentrate and also with natural flavors, whereas the Soylent isn't paleo at all. So again, it really just kind of depends on what your tastes are. So when it comes to the price, I do want to emphasize the company can change the prices month to month depending on their strategy. Right now though, Ample, if you get the 400 calorie version of Ample, it's going to be between $5.50 and $6.50 per bottle. It really depends on how much you get. That's for the 6-pack. There's a minimum order of 6. If you get more and more, the price drops. If you get like a bunch of 60 of them, the price drops about $1.50 or so per bottle. The 600 calorie version as well, that's also available in bundles of like 6 and going all the way up to 60. That is roughly $1.50 more per bottle. That's a rough estimate. When it comes to Soylent, on the other hand, this tub here, this has 12 meals and it's going to be between $2.50 and $3.50 per meal of 400 calories. And again, you can order more and the price drops a bit if you get them in pouches. There is a minimum order of 35 meals, but then it's going to drop to under $2 per meal of 400 calories. In either case, you can subscribe to regular shipments and the price drops between 10 and 15% if you order it, like say every month. In any case, Soylent is the less expensive option, at least for the moment. All right, those are my thoughts on Soylent and Ample, the two super popular meal replacement powders. Long story short, Soylent is cheaper and has more nutrition, whereas Ample tastes better and has more of an emphasis on gut health and antioxidants. If you want to read the full written comparison and make up your own mind, just Google my review, BarBend plus Soylent versus Ample.